A verdict by the Supreme Court against the Karnataka government on the Cauvery issue brought many parts of the state to a standstill. Pro-Karnataka organizations took to the streets, called for a ban and even resorted to violence and vandalism. And you've been seeing that coverage across all news channels. Now, while this has caused huge damages to the state, it has also impacted the image of India's Silicon Valley, specifically Bengaluru. Has this interstate political turmoil dented real estate of the city? Stacey Pereira has the details.
On Monday, IT city Bengaluru came to a grinding halt. Tensions over the Cauvery water sharing issue between the two states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu reached new lows. Shops and restaurants were damaged, interstate trucks were set ablaze, and even loss of life. This forced many companies to stop all operations as the police forces imposed Section 144 in certain parts of the city.
General feeling of the corporate world is, what is happening in Bangalore city. It has affected, it has dented a little bit. I am confident that we'll come back.
According to industry body ASSOCHAM, this lawlessness has caused the state losses of up to 25,000 crores and even dented the image of Bengaluru, which is home to almost all the Fortune 500 companies. With a partial shutdown going to continue, IT and ITES services are likely to take a hit, further hurting the image of Bengaluru as the attractive investment destination. The Chief Minister has taken cognizance of the issue and has urged for immediate intervention.
Unfortunately, we are facing this issue in terms of the ready supply shrinking quite badly on the commercial real estate I'm talking about, the commercial office space. With that, things like this happening, creates more negativity. These kind of dents are not good for, Bangalore in my opinion.
Dispute over water is a sensitive issue, evoking strong reactions from people from both the states. Violence is never a solution, but with all the damages done, will brand Bengaluru still be saved? It's time the state introspect. In Bengaluru with camera person Govind, Stacey Pereira for NDTV.
We also hear that companies like Amazon and Flipkart had to stall their operations for an entire day. Infosys and Wipro shut operations on Tuesday as well. So the question we are asking, are companies, global and Indian, going to think twice before opting for Bangalore going forward? Srinivasan Gopalan, CEO Ozone Group, and Joe Verghese, Managing Director Colliers International, join me. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of this discussion. Srinivasan, I'm going to come to you first. I mean, Bangalore showed a very, very different face from what one was used to, and clearly this water issue is something which affects everybody, every home, every office. So how big do you think, this might have got dissipated, but how big do you think it could be a problem going forward?
No, first is this problem has to get resolved. I think it's not a local problem, it's a world issue. It's like global warming, where people are talking about it at every forum. We need to talk about water as well. So water is an issue, and if you look at the world water availability, only 2% is potable water. Everything else is saline water. So we need to use technology and other things to ensure that there is drinking water available to all of us, and irrigation and so on and so forth. So it's a world issue, and it should not be looked at by just an incident that has happened in Karnataka or in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, that might be, I mean, that's a very, very global stance to take. Yes, of course, we all know future wars are going to be around water, but, if you look at this news per se, how it's unfolded, Joe, there's no denying that, you already have a situation where infrastructure is crumbling. There are so many office goers who are saying, look, Bangalore has exhausted its capacity of infrastructure. You have falling A-grade office space. And now you have incidents like this, which just generally tend to put off new companies which are likely would have thought of making Bangalore their home. Don't you agree?
You're right to an extent, Manisha. I don't think we are at that stage where companies are going to put off their move into Bangalore, but they are definitely becoming sensitive to the fact that the infrastructure is crumbling, not just transport infrastructure, water supply, electricity. So the problem Bangalore is actually facing is that it's become a victim of its growth. No one anticipated Bangalore to grow at this level. Just to put it in perspective, 10 years ago, Bangalore had 16 million square feet of commercial space. Today it's got about 8 times that amount of commercial space and that many more jobs, that many more people in Bangalore. It was not anticipated. So the solution, in addition to what Srini said, is to actually find a new solution to the problem. Today the problem is that we are still looking at solutions that were made 100 years ago, and the ground reality has changed. So if you look at it from an investor's perspective or an occupier's perspective who's looking at moving into Bangalore, he's not going to get worried about these incidents, but he'll get worried if we are not finding new solutions to these problems.
What are the solutions, Srinivasan? I mean, I've known that Devnahalli, there's so many developers who put big bucks on Devnahalli. There is a water crisis in that part of Bangalore as well. It's right next to the airport, the big airport district coming up. So, I mean, are developers thinking of it? Because I don't see any solutions right now. Supreme Court is just a judgment, and drought is going to happen every now and then, and the water crisis will come up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. If you look at Devnahalli, now the kind of developments that are coming up are these large-scale townships there. So there has to be an inbuilt mechanism to conserve rainwater in these places. So if you look at Ozone Urbana, which is one of the developments that we are doing, we have a complete water solution where we are telling that we will not have a single tanker coming into Ozone Urbana. So we have a solution. We are spending close to 75 to 80 crores only to ensure that we conserve water, because the layout is huge. It's 200 acres, so we are able to store water, conserve water, reuse water, and that's where technology comes in. So that's what I was trying to tell you, Manisha, that it's important that we think outside of the box, and don't look at solutions which are mundane and which is followed what maybe 100 years or 150 years ago. We need to increase the supply of water. Now, is that possible is something which we need to think, and every developer, and it has to be a rule for every developer to have a rain harvesting and create water within the development that he does. I mean, each one of us need to get responsible in this and fight this together.
Okay. So, Joe, you're dealing with all the Fortune 500 companies, or even the non-Fortune 500 companies who want to make Bangalore their home, even expand their current capacity in Bangalore. Do you think the availability or non-availability of water will become a long-term concern for them?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if this problem continues and there is no solution in sight, or there is no visibility of a plan for a solution in sight, that will become a concern. And not just water, I would include other infrastructure areas like transportation, power. These are all concerns. And today the client understands that Bangalore has grown at a rate that the authorities had not anticipated, so that's fine. But they are actually looking at the authorities and saying, what is the solution? And like Srini said, it's not like a solution is not available. I mean, there are so many states and countries in the world that don't have rivers and water supply, natural water supply like we do. And they are self-sufficient, both in terms of power, water, and they found solutions through desalination, they found solutions through rainwater harvesting, water recharging, the water table recharging. These are all solutions that experts can talk about. So it is not like there can't be a solution.
Okay, fair enough. So if there were two, so there is one aspect of developers themselves, Srini, getting down to the task, especially in large townships such as yours. But if you were to really look at the Siddaramaiah government right now and expect them to come up, I mean, court order aside, but what is it that the government in terms of policy can initiate which would go a long way in restoring the water confidence of Bangalore?
I believe baat karne se hi baat banti hai. So it's important that the two, so have we not seen this, Manisha, that how many countries share the Nile River?
Correct, they do.
I mean, if it can happen within countries, we are all a part of one country. So I'm sure that if two people sit together and there is an agreement which was dated 1890. Today we are in 2016. And we are always looking at solutions. Why should it go to the Supreme Court? I don't know.
Okay.
So,
well,
it's important.
Absolutely. I mean, original agreements signed in 1892 and 1924, but since then there have been several court orders trying to actually distribute water between these two states. This is a year when we had good monsoons, but unfortunately Karnataka did not get good monsoons. Gentlemen, let me just quickly go to Joe. Joe, what would your solution be? One is, we've already discussed that everyone needs to do their bit and there are many things which can be done, but immediately, for example, if the Karnataka government was to wake up, forget about the fact that, you know, this is a long-term solution which is required, but immediately as a policy, what can they do to conserve and ensure water security for Bangalore?
Just adding to what Srini said, I think they need to make rainwater harvesting mandatory. And they need to ensure that that is implemented. And strict penalties need to be put in place if both, not just commercial, even residential complexes are not following rainwater harvesting principles. That itself will reduce the requirement of water supply by between 25 to 50%. You know, so you know that would be a big boost.
Big boost.
They need to come up with a policy on how to rejuvenate lakes, because that is the natural container of water for Bangalore. It'll be difficult to revive some lakes which have been lost with development, but at least the lakes that are existing, we need to have a plan that will rejuvenate lakes and have concrete channels that include rainwater flowing into these lakes.
Absolutely.
And Manisha, just look at this dichotomy. 1 month back we were discussing floods.
Absolutely.
And today we are discussing, and I'm sure there is a mechanism to store that water which could not have been flooded. And both of them are disaster.
You know something, gentlemen, I have a lot of hope for that city, simply because I went last time and it was just on that August 15th weekend, and I saw that the entire city has started segregating waste because there's a legal order now. The law has said that you have to segregate waste, and I see citizens standing on the roads every morning in the colony, and these are private citizens, and making sure that all other citizens and all other residents are following. So if there's any other city which can take the lead on water conservation, it has to be Bangalore. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me.